What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Curry Tech, and we'll be going over AMD's Epyc Milan 3 CPUs. Anyway, leave a like, subscribe, and let's hop into this video. As you know, AMD Epyc has been going against Intel Xeon and actually chipping away at Intel's market share of server sides of things. As you can see on the slide, we have a slide documentation of how the modeling and numbers correlates. So actually, the first number, the 7, refers to the product series, and the 3 as well, referring to Milan third generation of Epyc CPUs. The second number, 4, or whatever number, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, will indicate the number of cores and threads, and then the third digit showing the performance indicator, 1 meaning value oriented, 4 to 6 meaning performance oriented, or F meaning high performance per clock, and then P referring in the fifth digit referring to a single socket versus a dual socket. Now as we go down to the SKUs of the Epyc 3rd generation Milan, we see that the Epyc 7763, which is a 64-core 128 thread model, as we know from the indicators, shows a 2.45 GHz and a 3.5 GHz boost clock, an L3 cache size of 256 megabytes, and a TDP of 280 watts, which is no joke, as this CPU can actually be run into a dual socket motherboard for servers. So there's a lot of motherboards out there that ASRock and companies make for servers that can actually run dual Epyc CPUs, giving you 128 cores and 256 threads. So that is a lot of computation and power, just raw processing power for servers. So it's very interesting to see what Intel can do against this, because their highest, I believe it's the Intel Xeon 8120. It's the $10,000 CPU, and that on the server side Xeon, and that thing costs $10,000, where these Epyc CPUs cost less than nothing, and even Threadripper went against it as well and beat it. I don't know if that's going to be the exact one that they will be comparing it to, but Xeon is definitely in trouble. As we go down to the Epyc 75F3, we see that the F, which indicates the high performance per core, shows a 2.95 GHz base and a 4.0 boost clock. F meaning high performance per core. Since it's only a 32-core 64-thread model, they can actually push the cores and clocks a lot higher compared to 64 cores and 128 threads, because of the wattage, which you see is 280 watts, which is the same as a 64-core 128 thread. So because of the less cores and threads, they can push those cores and threads a little bit higher compared to those 64 cores and 128 threads, because there's just so many raw cores on there that they don't want to draw even more TDP than they already have. They want to keep a well-balanced TDP and efficiency on the market, so they can market that as well. 4 GHz on a 32-core 64-thread CPU is definitely a lot. Threadripper, which is a mainstream platform, has actually gone past that because it is more focused on gaming, and they've tweaked it for gaming. So all the pipelines, the dies, the size of the die, the pipelines as well are all oriented for gaming, whereas Epyc is more focused on computation or server side of things. So don't get those two things confused. As you see with the Epyc 7543 with a P, it is only a single core socket. And one of the Epyc CPUs that I want to focus on is the 7643, which is actually an odder count, which is a 48 core and a 96 thread CPU. Something that you don't see on mainstream very often, but in servers there are a lot of, let's say, out of mainstream things that you don't see in mainstream PCs. A lot of the times you don't see kind of like odd number CPUs. So with Intel's newer generation, they'll be using, or 12th generation, they'll be using a big dot little design. So big meaning high performance cores, and little meaning low power consumption cores, giving the more well balanced idea of efficiency of clock speeds and also temperatures. But what comes with it is a kind of like not a very uniformed core of the thread count. So it might be 14 cores and 24 threads. I forgot what it said for that one leak I saw for Alder Lake. But 48 cores and 96 threads would be interesting to come to mainstream Threadripper, because I believe that it could bridge that gap between the 3970X and then the 3990X, because 64 cores and 128 threads for Threadripper mainstream is just way too much, in my opinion, because Windows just doesn't even utilize all the cores and threads. No game utilizes, or any thing utilizes 64 cores and 128 threads, unless you're probably like rendering something at like 8K or 16K. But it's still pretty crazy to think how far we've come from technology. So as you see down, this is from CES 2021, the company revealing a 68% higher performance over Intel's Xeon 28-core 56-thread processors, or the 6258. That's the one they're comparing it to. It all comes down to instructions per clock cycle, how efficient the node is, 7 nanometer, compared to Intel's 14 nanometer, and just the overall reliability of the CPU itself, and the dual socket support, and how much RAM the motherboards and CPU can hold. So I can't wait to see this coming out in March. So it's going to be very interesting to see if it can give Intel its run for its money even more. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. A very brief summary of the slide, and also more things to come in the future. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. We actually hit 110 views on one of our videos 3 months ago, so I never thought 110 people would actually watch my video. It's kind of crazy to think that I started this channel almost, I think it's about to be almost 6 months ago. It's just crazy, because I never thought I would actually love doing this. And it's just crazy. I can't wait for what the future holds for us. Big things coming to the channel, really big things. Hopefully I'll be upgrading this mic in the future, so you'll actually be hearing a lot better quality of sound. But just stick it out for me, please. I hope you guys keep watching the videos, and yeah, peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hope this video reaches out to you well.